Hey everyone and welcome back. So I wanted to actually record this video yesterday, but I was not actually able to do any recording. So sort of one day late on this, but luckily the pre-order is still actually going on for throughout the weekend. This is over at Vinegar Syndrome. So they are having a sort of pre-order for all of their May titles. So for those of you who don't know, Vinegar Syndrome has two sort of big sales twice a year. One is in May, what they call their halfway to Black Friday sale, which usually happens, if I remember correctly, around Memorial Day weekend. And then obviously the big Black Friday sale, which happens at the end of November, which they do every year. So as they do now, they actually give people a chance to sort of pre-order those titles ahead of time, so you can get them a little bit cheaper than you will be able to do in May. But of course, for two of the titles, they are not officially announcing them yet, so you are taking a little bit of a gamble, but at the very least, we do have what most of them are, and actually, I'm actually really happy with what they've announced. So the interesting thing is the fact that most of them are 4K releases that come with a Blu-ray, but there's actually only one Blu-ray only release, but it is a box set. So I'm going to cover that one first, and that one is called Villages of the Damned, 3 Horrors from Spain, and I believe this set is region-free, and it comes with The Force of the Wolf from 1970, The Skies Falling from 1975, and then finally Beatrice from 1976. Now, no further details from the set just yet. That'll actually come out probably in May, you know, once these titles sort of officially cross over into the May time frame. And the next couple are 4K and Blu-ray sets. So first one is one I'm excited about, is a 4K release of A Blade in the Dark, the giallo film from Lamberto Bava. And this is one, I know sometimes some people kind of feel this is probably one of the slower ones. I always really like it. It's getting with a little bit of a slow burn film. I'm really excited for this one to come out. Obviously, it's Italian, you know, Italian horror and Italian giallo always is my thing, so I love it. And again, the included Blu-ray should be region free, which is good. Next up is one I really am happy is coming. It's so funny because I literally just mentioned this recently in another video, and that is a 4K and Blu-ray release of Uli Lomel's The Boogeyman, which we're finally getting a release of. Again, that hasn't gotten a release forever. There was a UK release, I know, from a couple years ago, because that's a copy I have, but we're finally getting like a full like 4K and Blu-ray release, because this is one that is definitely long overdue for a proper release. And the fact that it's getting like a new transfer, you know, from the original camera negative, and the fact that it's also going to be a 4K release, it's just kind of funny because literally I just mentioned that recently. So yeah, so that's finally coming out. And then the other one, which is part of their Vinegar Syndrome Ultra line. So, for example, for me, that's not part of my subscription, so I did have to get this separately. But it's actually the movie Showgirls. Yes, the Paul Verhoeven film from the mid-90s is getting a 4K release from Vinegar Syndrome. Now, this is an interesting one on multiple levels. Much like their other releases, for example, like Roadhouse and like Cloak and Dagger and some of that stuff, you know, they're trying to reach out and do different kinds of films. And the thing is, the funny thing is, I know this got a little criticism because people are like, why? You know, why is that getting a release from Vinegar Syndrome? Actually, it falls in pretty perfectly. One, if they can do a bigger release for a couple things, that gives them a little bit more of a financial comfort level, especially if they sell well, to still go after these other films, you know, the much more obscure titles and things like that, you know, more obscure horror and exploitation films. So it's kind of a win-win situation. And the funny thing is they actually posted that this was their fastest selling title to date, but also understandable because, again, you know, especially in the case of like Roadhouse and now Showgirls, like even though they were studio films, they're still considered like cult films, so they actually kind of still fall in, you know, the banner that Vinegar Syndrome kind of does. And because it is part of their Ultra line, of course, it is going to have that deluxe packaging that they've done with their other ones as well. And there will be, you know, there will be a standard release like down the line, but this is right now, it's just a Vinegar Syndrome exclusive at the moment. Now, but for this one though, obviously 4K region free, but the included Blu-ray will be region A locked, so do take note of that for those of you outside of region A. And in the case with all of these, obviously extras and much more details have not been announced yet. Again, we probably won't get a lot of that until May. But then they also have two secret titles. Now, these are interesting. A lot of speculation of what they could be. I have a very strong speculation of what one of them might be, and I saw other people mention it too. So I think it could be correct, but we'll see. Now, both of these are going to be 4K releases, and the only clues they've given are I'm going to read this from their website. We always try to save the weirdest, wildest, rarest, and or most head-spinning flicks for the secret titles. So as always, we've prepared a doozy. First up, making its worldwide UHD and Blu-ray debut is a cheery, keyword there, regional slasher with an impressive array of creative killings, finally presented as its makers wanted to be seen, along with its distributor-mandated release version. So that's one, and then the other, and perhaps even more exciting, one of the craziest films from a director legendary for his decades worth of cinematic insanity, at last hits UHD and Blu-ray, a feat which was years in the making but completely worth the wait. And both releases will be region-free as far as the included Blu-rays go. So as far as the second one goes, I'm not 100% sure. Very interested to see what that one is going to be. As far as the first one goes, where it was the exact line, cheery regional slasher, I have a feeling that's actually going to be Cheerleader Camp. For a couple reasons. One, I have heard for a while that was actually getting a release from someone. Their wording is very specific there. Now, granted, I am maybe making a connection where there isn't one, but I have a feeling maybe they were leaning towards something along those lines. And also, I know that the majority of the cast, not too long ago, had a big reunion at a convention, and during that convention, they recorded a bunch of interviews. And usually that happens when there's a eventual release coming, which again, it's because that's the easiest time to interview people when they're all together for a reunion at a convention. You know, that's where some of these companies will go and get to interview, you know, a bunch of people associated with a film. So the fact that that was recently done for Sleepaway Camp makes me kind of think that actually could be this one here. Could be wrong, obviously, because I don't know. But if I had to make an educated guess, I think that's probably what that one is going to be. So definitely some interesting announcements here for May again. So we're not going to get any further details for another month. And again, it's not that you won't be able to get these later if you want to wait. It's just, you know, this weekend, if you pre-order them, you can get them cheaper. Now, I think the only one, you can get them separately with the exception of the one box set, the one Spanish box set. It's the only one that you can only get in the bundle. But all the other ones, except for the, actually, I take that back. Except for the secret releases, you can only get those together. Or if you get the bundle, obviously you get all of them. Definitely an interesting assortment of stuff coming out. Definitely happy that the Boogeyman is finally getting a proper release. So just want to cover this real quick, especially before the weekend is over, in case some of you want to jump in on that. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'll try and answer them as best I can, but again, until they release more details down the line, I don't really know too much more beyond that. But I'm happy to answer them if I can. Definitely let me know your thoughts on these as well. And if you've ordered them yourself, or you're going to hold out and maybe wait. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.